Hello, everybody. Welcome in for another episode of Vol Club Confidential. I'm your host, Austin Price. Vol Club Confidential, of course, brought to you by the great people at Knoxville Smiles. Coming up tonight on the show, we have Tennessee left-handed starting pitcher Liam Doyle. But before him, we get more on Knoxville Smiles.
Knoxville Smiles depend on us to make you smile better. Knoxville Smiles, are you happy with your smile today? Knoxville Smiles, we're all about smiles.
Hey Lance, what makes you smile?
Pancake blocks.
What's up, man? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Liam, when you got here, they're coming off the national title, a lot of new faces in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Are you surprised how well you all have been able to gel and bond this early in the year? Just seeing all the new parts to this thing?
Yeah, not necessarily surprised. We had a really good team coming in. We knew we were going to have talent. We were just trying to find the pieces to where everyone was going to go. But we kind of had a feeling baseball was going to take care of itself, so we made it a good standout point to become really close with each other. I think that all comes down from the coaching staff with setting up like a little events or team things in the fall, being able to go hang out with each other and becoming good friends. I know even at like my apartment complex, at least half the team lives there, so we're always hanging out together, and it's just a fun time. There's always really good vibes in the locker room.
What are these hangout sessions like? Is it just a lot of PlayStation?
Yeah.
What are we talking here?
There's a lot of just hanging out, watching sports and stuff like that. We went paintballing in the fall. That was good. It could be anything. We all just hanging out. Always at the field too. Anyway, bunch of guys, whether it's just the pitching staff or just the position players and stuff like that. But yeah, just a lot of good group of guys. Everyone's able to hang out with everyone, so it's really cool. Just watching sports, chilling out, just being guys.
When you're watching Tennessee make that run last year,
mm-hmm.
and you're go be looking around, like what caught your eye about Tennessee? Obviously, y'all played them,
yep.
But I mean, like when you're watching that run, watching the excitement, the fun they had, like what caught the eye?
The amount of confidence that they play with. I've always been a guy that has a lot of confidence in myself, and knowing that I always had the ability to do things, but just watching how that coaching staff coached and those players played and how they looking like at those guys last year, that they would die for each other on the field and do anything to win that national championship. Even when they lost that first game last year, it's like they still looked like they felt pretty damn confident that they were going to win that national championship, and that's really what I wanted to come do, and I wanted to have that confidence and win. I wanted to be able to win games and not always be perfect all the time, and have a lot of protection between this offense and this pitching staff that we have this year, and just play for a coaching staff that's willing to do anything for his players. So.
When you're playing Tennessee last year,
mm-hmm.
like, are you thinking, I wish I was playing here?
Can
can you legitimately think those type of things?
I always try to be where my feet are, but I've always liked Tennessee as a school. I always thought it was really cool growing up, ever since watching college baseball and stuff, probably around like 2021, 2022, since they started taking over the whole college baseball world. It's always been really fun to watch, and how they play, all the home runs they hit, and all the great pitchers that they've had here. It's always been fun to play, but there's a million different places in college baseball that are really cool, but this one definitely stood out to me for sure.
All those home runs they hit. Now you're getting to kind of benefit from that, right? I mean, like, how much more confidence does it give you taking the mound when these guys can rake?
It's a great feeling, Pitchers are going to give up runs. It's going to happen. Metal bats, and there's great hitters, and we're playing the best conference in the country. So you're going to give up your runs here and there. You're not going to have your best stuff all the time. So you give up 3 or 4 in and out, and it's like, okay, your offense is probably going to score 10. So you'll be all right. Just go out there and compete, do the best you possibly can, and your team's going to always have your back no matter what happens.
We were talking before we started, and I referenced the fact that your strikeout numbers have doubled
mm-hmm.
going from Ole Miss to Knoxville, which
yeah.
is a huge jump.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of take me through and take everybody through why you think that is, and kind of maybe how different are you physically from a year ago?
Yeah, well, I think it all came with like just putting things together. I knew I always had the arm talent and the ability to pitch at the highest level with good success, but mixing in everything with my nutrition and weight room work and all that stuff, and the team and staff that we have here is just top of the line. They were able to help me put everything together. They made it a really easy process coming in the summer on a visit, showing me where we were going to attack, what we were going to do, best things to put in my body, best things to do while I'm in the weight room and stuff like that. So between Q and Beth and obviously working with Coach A, as everyone knows, is truly been a blessing. So been able to just work with all of them and get my body in the right shape and be able to go compete the best possible way possible, which is what I wanted to do anyway. But yeah, it gave me that confidence, put everything together, and I think it's just showing out in the field right now.
You come over with Andrew Fisher. Did that make it easier walking in the clubhouse when you're like, okay, I already know one guy?
Definitely.
Even I'm sure you knew some of them from different walks of life, travel ball or whatever. But I mean, did that make it just easier?
Yeah, it was always easy. I was obviously being good friends and teammates with Andrew last year, knowing him, knowing his family, and just being able to talk to him through the whole process, being able to go on the visit with him and really talk to him about what we saw in the school and trying to find a place that we knew we could win games when the second we'd be inserted into this lineup. So, yeah, it made the process easy. It was always cool to go through it with someone else and, trust Andrew, and I think we made a great decision for ourselves.
How would you grade your early season to this point?
So far, so good. Got a lot of work to do still, and a lot of room for improvements. But it's been a good start. Definitely the start that I was looking for to get on the right foot, especially before SEC play, and just get my feet wet, pitching on the new stadium and during my draft year and stuff. But it's been a good start overall for the team. It's been an even better start. So
you say an A for yourself?
I'll go.
Can you be better?
Could always be better. So I'll go like an A- maybe or something. I'll give the team a solid A right now though.
Where can you be better than? How do you take it from A- to A+?
Still gave up one run so far this season, so there's that. A few walks here and there, so not perfect yet, but
still searching for that perfect game.
Trying to get there. Yep.
Any given Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Any given Friday.
Could happen.
Before Ole Miss, you were at Coastal Carolina.
Yep.
A lot of trips to Myrtle Beach.
Yep.
Big beach guy.
A lot. Yeah.
Where were your go-to spots on the Grand Strand?
There's a lot of good restaurants down there that you were able to go to, but any place down by the beach I like. I grew up near the beach back home anyway, and being able to go to Cape Cod all the time, it kind of gave me that same sense of feel, and it was nice just being by the beach. I think my parents even liked it a little bit more than I did. They were able to come down and always go hang out at the beach, but anywhere on the beach, I'd go with my teammates. I still have some really good friends that I talk to all the time from back at school there, so it's cool to go out and hang out with them down near the ocean, stuff like that.
Nothing like Conway, South Carolina.
Conway's a little different, but Myrtle Beach is nice, and I love being there for my 1 year. Just knew what I wanted to do for my aspirations in life and where I wanted to go, so all ended up here.
Well, you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Quicker,
Yep.
quicker the better.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in New Hampshire,
Yep.
you're a Boston guy.
Mm-hmm.
Got that accent, got that northern accent.
A little bit, yep.
Is it give me a Nomar.
No more Garcia Parra.
No more.
Yeah, you can talk to my dad about that, but
so he can do it well.
His accent's a lot worse than mine. At least I've had 3 years of being in the South now to kind of change my ways.
Well, do they? When you go back home, do they go, "What is this twang you've developed?"
No, because I'll stay away from that because I don't know if my mom would be too happy if I developed that. But they're both Boston people. They grew up in the city and stuff like that. So I definitely have maybe a little bit of both sides to me now, but.
So your Sox, Bruins, Patriots, I assume.
Yep, Celtics, all of them. Yep.
What best venue to go to? What? Fenway.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, going to a Fenway.
Well, you're a baseball guy, though.
Yeah,
take the baseball out. Then you can't go.
I still
Fenway.
think it's the best venue out of Gillette and the TD Garden. It's just so historic, and there's so many great games going on. And Red Sox games in the summer, it's tough to beat. Perfect weather usually, no humidity, and it's just nice going to like a Red Sox Yankees game or something at night. It's always fun.
I love, and Fenway's neat too because it's such an old ballpark. It's kind of like Wrigley.
Yeah.
You can get those like obstructed view seats, right? Like you go behind all of a sudden you're behind a pole, and you're like can't see like
duck and curve around the corner.
You ever had to sit in one of those?
Yeah, me and my uncle sat in one when I was a kid. I remember that we were like underneath the grandstand and you had to look around the pole. We ended up moving because I think it was like a week game, so I didn't even think it was sold out or whatever. But yeah, no, there's a few spots in that park that they definitely weren't necessarily thinking through when they were building it. But that's the beauty of it.
Greatest Red Sox of all time.
Oh, That's a tough one. You know, if you really want to go back, I'd probably say like Ted Williams or not.
There you
but,
go. That's the easy
my
answer.
favorite, and some people from Boston would definitely agree, was probably like David Ortiz. You know,
Yeah.
because I was able to at least watch him play and stuff like that. So watching Big Papi play, and he's just a great guy. He's beloved by Boston. He could hit 0 home runs in a year and still be everyone's favorite player in Boston. Like he's just seems like a great guy.
And you had
great leader
Manny's
for the
kid
team.
that was committed here.
Yeah. I played with Pedro's kid a few summers ago, and Big Papi's kid in a summer league. So that was pretty cool too. My dad was able to see them at a few games, and he was kind of fanboying them. So it was pretty funny. That's who he grew up watching. So that was always cool.
What have you enjoyed about the transition to Tennessee? I don't mean from a baseball standpoint, but like academic life, being a part of the other sports, student athlete, football games. What stood out to you in this?
The
6
football
months?
games are really different than anywhere I've been to. I mean, even not being at an SEC school last year, I don't think much compares to Newland, especially at night and stuff like that. So being able to go to a lot of those football games are really fun. I'm a huge college football fan, so I love watching all college football. So being able to actually go to these games and stuff like that have been truly awesome. But besides that, I love Knoxville. I'm a big fan of Knoxville. I grew up in a city, so I like being in the city. Liked Oxford too, but it's definitely more of like a small town, quiet and stuff like that. I like being in a city at this point in my life, so it gives me a sense of feel of being back home in a way, which is cool.
When you were here playing last year, were you able to notice the city then, or was it like where you stayed and you went to the ballpark and you didn't really get to because I'm telling you, I don't know how many recruits I've interviewed over the years in various number of sports where I'm like, what stood out about Knoxville? And they're like, that it's a city. And I'm like, what did you think it was? And he's like, Cal Fields. I mean, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I definitely didn't. Before I came here, I definitely didn't necessarily think it was as big of a city as it actually is, with all the stores and stuff to do and stuff like that. But I came here on my visit and I went out to dinner with my parents a few times downtown and stuff like that. So I was able to kind of get a good feel with it, and I actually enjoy doing that with a lot of college towns, like just going to walk around and seeing different places, which is always nice.
When you were going through the process,
Yeah.
As a high school kid, it's different. I'm sure you leaned on your parents then. How much did you lean on your parents going through the process as a transfer? Both times, really.
Yeah, well, the first time, they've both been pretty stressful for my family. My mom's always freaking out. My dad's trying to figure out what the best move is for me in my life. But, I always lean on my parents for anything in life, and they've always helped me out and always wanted the best for me regardless of what the decision was. But I leaned on them as much as possible. Knew eventually it would always end up being my choice and what I wanted to do in life. But they always have really good points, and I always got to talk to them. And they're very wise and know what they're talking about. My dad's a big baseball guy, and just being able to talk to them through and going on these visits with them, seeing everything, and making sure they felt also comfortable with me being at a school like this. Not just me feeling like confident, which is also a big fact. I want them to be happy just as well as I'm happy, and I think we found the perfect spot to suit both of those.
When did they know? Did they come to you and go, I really like this place?
I think when they started meeting the coaching staff and going out to dinner with the coaching staff, they really saw Coach V was actually who he is on camera and everything like that. Meeting Coach Q and all these different attitudes and energies around here, and just positive vibes, and being able to meet everyone on the coaching staff. Everyone's all young, and talking to even like our academic counselors and Beth and all these just people. They just felt really comfortable. I had a great family down here and people that would take care of me.
There is nothing phony about any of those guys.
No,
I mean, they are exactly who they portray to be, right? Like they're authentic. Frank Anderson is Frank Anderson.
Frank Anderson is Frank Anderson.
And
That's
Tony Vitello
true.
is Tony Vitello. And, Tony does a lot for the community that people never see.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him a few years ago, on Dr. Seuss Read Across America Week, like, hey, would you come read to my kids' elementary school? And he was like, I'll be there at 9:00. And he went out, and he's like, but no, I don't want anybody to know I'm coming. I don't want anybody to make a big deal about it. I just want to come read to the kids because that's the right thing to do. I don't want TV. I don't want anybody to know. It's just who he is.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy, and I think that gave my parents just a great confidence in where I was going. Just everyone's so authentic here, and they really are who they are on camera, which is always good to see. And it's pretty cool. Tony has that like kind of superstar status around Knoxville and stuff like that in the college baseball world. So being able to hang out with him on my visit and just see that he's also just a normal guy on the side and someone that you can trust and someone that you just really want to play for and just go after and fight on the field every day was a huge thing for me.
What makes you smile?
Winning or anything to do with sports and baseball, but a lot of stuff like that.
All right, that makes him smile. Now more on Knoxville Smiles.
I'm Tennessee basketball player JP Estrella. Let me give you a tour here of the offices at Knoxville Smiles. Dr. Costa is placing implants with a robot, and it's all done digitally. There's no guessing with this since it's all robotic. Dr. Welko is the newest addition to the office. He loves to research the latest and greatest in technology, so the other doctors go to him for the newest product information and techniques. Dr. Malone is building teeth in the mouth. To him, cosmetic bonding is more like artwork. He does this without cutting your teeth down. It's all about building them up. Guys, we still have a problem. Do y'all have a bigger chair?
All right, you're a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
You always you have that like trademark, like kind of like the lefty look with the hat. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you? Like it's the John Lester look. I mean, which to equate it back to the Red Sox, it's kind of like like a little cock to the left a little bit.
Yeah,
motion and all that.
I always hear lefties are a little weird sometimes. I don't find myself too weird, but so I guess some things that everyone knows could be considered weird. But yeah, lefties try to be funky on the mound, so always have some edge to them in some way.
Do you ever pay attention to the pitch clock?
Yes and no. Usually, I'm kind of the opposite. I'm too quick, so I guess that's when I pay attention to the pitch clock to make sure I'm not getting any warnings or violations. To make sure I'm not the batter's eyes are up, which is the new rule now. But I'm never worried like I'm gonna be too slow. So I don't pay attention to like how other people would. But yeah, in a way, it's good to see. Just make sure I'm not working too fast. Make sure I have my time and I can take my breaths and really focus in.
You seem so even keel, like not too fiery.
on the mound, I can get kind of fiery.
But are you though? Like, I mean, do you talk a lot? Like, are you talking to the batters?
Yeah, I'll talk. I think it's just kind of the competitive spirit and the little northern attitude I have with me. But yeah, I don't know. I like talking. It's more just get my confidence up and just part of the game and makes it more fun for me and just the competitive nature of playing a sport anyway. Baseball, I grew up playing a bunch of different sports and I enjoyed winning and I enjoyed competing, but baseball was the best thing I was at, competing and winning. So I stuck with baseball and it's paid off from there.
Give me your best clean trash talk story where you came out on the good end of the trash talk. With the result against a batter.
There was a ton of trash talk my freshman year, and mid majors and being at those games, playing against the big schools. You kind of see like both points of view, like especially like now when like mid majors come into like SEC schools and stuff like that. You're able to see a lot of trash talk, but we had a few bad incidents that year with guys like pimping home runs, and you have to come in the next inning, and you're not necessarily scared, but you got to keep that energy going. Like you can't back off them now. We played like #1 Wake Forest that year, and I had to trash talk that lineup that was actually really, really good that year. So just keep it going in those midweeks, and you're able to see both ends of views now. Because now being in an SEC school, and you're like, oh, this is like these guys' World Series right now. They're coming in to play us on a Tuesday, so we got to really lock in because we're going to get their best game. So we got to give them something. So yeah, I know there's a lot of trash talk. I know that clip of me last week kind of went viral, trash talking a few players on Oklahoma State. So my mom and grandma weren't too happy about that one.
What we've referenced here early in this podcast is Mom. Mom doesn't want you to be Southern.
Nope.
And Mom does not like the trash talk.
No. My mom wants me to be nice to everyone. I think that's her side coming out, but my dad likes it, so it's gotta make both
you
people
gotta balance.
happy.
You gotta balance.
Got to, yeah.
Always keep Grandma happy.
Yeah,
Grandmas are the best.
That's right. I told her that I'd never do it again, but I'll probably end up doing it again this weekend or something.
Nah, save it this weekend. Next week against Florida.
Yeah, we'll save it. We'll try to save it for that.
Actually, which will be this past weekend. What do you What is it that you've learned about yourself through the last 3 years, pitching at 3 different schools?
Yeah. I think you just learn how to have confidence in yourself. Just being a kid from New Hampshire, trying to play college baseball at the biggest level, everyone kind of tells you it's impossible. You should stay back home. You should go to a small northern school, play Division I baseball, maybe get drafted in the later rounds, and just try to work your way from there. And there are success stories out of that, but I kind of knew that it was never the path that I wanted to do. Kind of wanted to go out on my own. All my friends are back home, so it was a tough decision leaving home and going so far away. But always have the confidence in yourself, and you learn that you really can do those things, put your mind to it. I've always had a lot of determination to be the best possible pitcher I can be. I wanted to get drafted high. I wanted to go play in these big games. I grew up going to all these Red Sox games. I think that'd be the coolest thing to ever go pitch at those venues and stuff like that. And being able to go to 3 different schools now, you always have to, you're taking these leaps of faith every time. So you're going into the transfer portal, you have a confidence in yourself, being able to make sure you're making the right decision. I have no regrets to where I've been to this year or these past couple of years and transferring. I know it all ended up being in the perfect spot for me now, but I just really enjoying the ride and going every step of the way and trusting the decisions you're making, just having those confidences and believing in yourself.
How would you feel if the New York Yankees drafted you?
I would be the biggest Yankees fan in the world.
The allegiances are gone.
No, it is what it is, that's now who I work for, so whoever drafts me, I'm going to be.
How would your dad handle that?
My dad would get a Liam Doyle New York Yankees jersey and wear it every day. So that's how it would be. My dad's right behind my back, so he'll be there with me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, until maybe the day I retire, then he'll probably go back to the Red Sox or whatever, but... Yeah, no.
I'm with you. I know that's what happened, but it's still like he'd have to he'd have to go put all his Red Sox stuff, keep it in the closet.
Yeah, I'd have to hide in the back for a few years or however long that is. But we'll always be Boston fans at heart. You can't really take the Boston out of us. But whoever we get drafted to next year, whether it's the Yankees, Mets, or anyone else in the AL East that Red Sox fans don't like, we're going and we're gonna play as hard as we can for them, and hopefully they win.
How many major league stadiums have you been
to? 4 or 5. Been to.
So not too many.
No, been to Philly, both New York stadiums, Fenway. Just went to Houston. I think that's.
What'd you think of Houston?
Houston was really nice. That was coming from seeing a lot of those like Northeast stadiums where like they're not as modernized and necessarily as big. Houston was huge. Houston had a big overhang, and it just felt like so much taller and bigger than everywhere else.
Has Levi Clark's home run landed yet?
Don't want to give him too much confidence, but probably not. No, that ball was hit really well. That was a bomb. It was really cool actually to see someone put it up on the train tracks, especially him. So that was cool for a freshman to do. All
right, we're going to pull out your phone. We're going to call the one person, and for those people at home, we're taping early in the morning, so this will be a little more different than taping when we tape at night. We're going to call the one person in your phone that you can always count on to answer. Doesn't have to be a teammate. Can be family. Can be whoever.
Family?
Yep. Put them on speaker. We're gonna see if they answer.
It's either my mom or our best friend. I'll call my mom though.
Yeah, I figured we'd call mom. We're gonna find out how often you call her too, because if she answers, says something wrong.
Our phone log's pretty deep, so. Hey mom, we're on a podcast right now. I just had to call someone that would answer me for sure, and I knew you would.
Oh, absolutely.
Had to tell them that we talk every day and talk multiple times a day.
Every day, I don't know what I'd do without it.
Nope, we catch it every day.
We're teaching him Southern dialect and trash talk. Two things he's identified you as against.
Yeah, I told them that you wouldn't like if I came home with a Southern tang to me, so.
It's all good. It's all good. The little trash talk we gotta watch.
She said you can have sweet tea.
Yep, I can have my sweet tea. Have a little Southern side to me.
I love it.
Yeah. Good.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Love you, Mom. I'll call you back in a little bit.
Love you too.
Bye.
Have fun. Bye.
There you go.
Yep.
See, maybe she's not anti-Southern dialect.
No. My uncle actually lived in Texas for a little bit, and She said that he came back with a little southern
Is
accent.
that her brother?
Yeah, which is kind of funny. I have 2 cousins, and both of them somehow, some way, they're both from Florida and Massachusetts, and they were both born in Texas somehow. Just happened to work out when my uncles were having kids, but they're both born in Texas somehow, and one of them found their way back to Boston with my aunt and uncle, and then the other one's in New York now. So it's kind of funny.
We were talking before we started, and you said that you're a big Chris Sale guy,
Yep.
left-hander.
Mhm.
And I said, my favorite left-hander growing up was Tom Glavine, because I'm older. And then you had a nice parallel to that with your first offer.
Yeah. Mike Glavine at Northeastern was my first offer, and coach
brother.
got to talk to. So that was pretty cool, being able to go there. And obviously he's had a few really good pitchers come out of Northeastern, and that's always I always cheer a little bit for the Northeast schools, because one, I have a lot of friends and people that I know on the team, but it's also cool to see those Northeast schools come down and try to beat the big SEC schools, because I knew as a kid that's what I thought I was going to have to do, just because that's what everyone did. But get out of your shell a little bit and have a little confidence in yourself. I was able to actually be at those SEC schools and where I wanted to play, which is always nice. But, yeah, got to meet Mike, and it was really cool.
As you get out of high school and you move on to college, everybody naturally just moves on in life, right? You don't talk to everybody you went to high school with every day.
Yeah.
How often do you talk to people that you went to high school with still? And then even when you go home, like, do you is there 2 or 3 buddies you're like, hey, I'm in town, let's hang out? You know?
I got this really close friend group that I'm really tight with, probably 5 or 6 guys. They come down for football games all fall. They'll come down for multiple baseball games in the SEC, but we're really tight. I talk to as many people as I can from back home. I think that's another thing with the Northeast. Kind of always stick with your roots and talk to your guys, and no matter how big in sports you want to get, that you don't want to always think that you don't want them to think that you're ever too big to not talk to them. So same kid that they would hang out with after school at high school or play high school ball with. So it's always good to be able to go talk to them and hang out with them when I go back home and just be friends. I'm really close with all their families. I text their parents all the time and just hang out with them, playing video games at night or whatever. So I talk to my buddies every day that are back home.
We've reached that point in the season where SEC play is getting going, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much more does the competitive, you talk about you loving to win, competing, does it ratchet up even more? Like, it's easy to say I approach every game the same, but at the end of the day, you're a kid. Like, you're going to get a little more juice to pitch against Florida or Alabama than you are Radford.
Yeah, no.
So I mean, like, how much more does it ratchet up?
It definitely takes another level up for sure, because you're playing just these unbelievable teams that are well put together, perfectly coached, and that's just the SEC, and that's why I wanted to play in it. You get to battle the best and play against the best players in the country, and I think that's the most fun that you can have in college baseball. There's nothing like a SEC Friday, Saturday night, going on a weekend series, playing in front of huge crowds, and it really brings that adrenaline level up. And most players, it brings the best out of them. Others, it doesn't bring the best out of them. I think I'm a guy that when you get under those lights and those big crowds, that you're going to get the best version of me. So I love playing in the SEC, man, just going against all these cool schools, stuff like that.
What's a perfect day for you?
Like
if I'm going to give you 2 perfect days. I want a perfect day in baseball for you, like from wake up to go to bed.
Yeah.
And then just in life, no baseball, like you're on vacation or whatever, like you have a down day.
Yeah.
What are perfect days for you?
For baseball, my day, I try to keep if I'm starting that day, I try to keep my day as simple as possible. Probably if I'm pitching at 6 or 6:30, which gives me a lot of time during the day, I try to wake up maybe at like 9 or 10. Go get my breakfast, make sure I get breakfast that day for sure, get a lot of food in. Chill out, maybe go over to the field in the morning, get in the hot tub, make sure my body's feeling right, get some recovery in, and then go grab lunch, probably around like 11 or noon that day. Then I like taking like a pregame nap or something, just going to chill out maybe back at my apartment for like an hour or 2, and then get over to the field probably 3.5 hours before game time. Make sure I'm just chilling out, locking in. I like hanging out with my teammates and stuff before the game. I'm not necessarily the guy that's going to be sitting in his locker with his headphones in, which is fine if that's who you are. But I like kind of just walking around, seeing how everyone's doing, going to talk with our coaches, going to hang out with a few of my teammates and stuff like that. But, yeah, that's try to get a good pregame meal in right before then again, and then right around that 6 o'clock time, go lock in and really go compete for my hour and a half that I get to go compete every week, and just continue to dominate. But if I'm not doing that, just like a regular off day, love playing golf, so it'd probably involve going to play 18 holes somewhere. But perfect weather. If I'm back home, probably go out on the lake or something that I live near, just going out on the boat, which is always fun. Grew up doing that. And then probably playing golf local nearby, getting to hang out with my friends and family by a fire pit at night and stuff like that. Just normal New Hampshire things that grew up doing, and being able to do with families up there. That's always fun.
If you weren't playing baseball, what would you be doing?
That's tough because baseball's just kind of been my life, especially the past 4 years. I don't know. Probably be going to a school right now, trying to get my degree in like a sports marketing or something at a school back home. I've always had a love for sports and a drive to play sports, but I don't necessarily know what I would be doing. I know I'd probably be a sports marketing major regardless, but I'd probably be back home. Definitely wouldn't be in the South. Just how it kind of is, just working, being at home, doing something around back home.
You a winter sports guy? You a big skier?
I do love skiing. Hopefully Coach V doesn't hear that, but I do love skiing. That is like my favorite thing to do when I'm back home.
Well, here's the thing. By the time you start skiing again, you won't be here, so it doesn't really matter.
No, I know. I told them that I took a winter off this year of skiing, and it hurt to do because that's literally my favorite hobby. Like, I enjoy skiing so much. It's almost just as fun as playing baseball sometimes. Like, being able to go up to the ski lodge, and it's everything that comes with skiing, like going away with your family, going up to the mountains, hanging out by the fires and stuff like that, and then waking up in the morning, just waking up on a mountain, going out has always been just my favorite thing. Something me and my family and friends have all done since we were kids growing up. So I love going skiing. That's my favorite.
Well, from being on a mountain to trying to climb the mountain this year with this team, good luck the rest of the way. Keep crushing it, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in. Be careful.